Hi, we're Team 5 from GCO2 at UCL. We built an app called PsyBase, an app for clinical decision making. Our client, Dr. Von Bell, is a psychiatrist at the UCL School of Psychiatry, and he's also a practicing psychiatrist. And he prompted the development of this app with a problem. He said that very frequently in his practice, a group of psychiatrists would be sitting around looking at various patient charts, trying to sort of make treatment plans for the patients, and they'd come across a patient who had a score on some psychiatric assessment scale that nobody recognized. So the meeting would have to be stopped, somebody would have to go out, look up this scale in the academic paper where it's described, figure out how to interpret the score the patient had, and then the meeting had to restart and continue on. And this happened frequently enough that he said it was a real problem. So what he wanted was an app for a phone so that during the meeting somebody comes across a scale they don't understand, you can just pull out your phone, look up the scale, get the information you need, and continue on without actually breaking up the meeting and causing a lot of delay. He also, during our research, we found that a list and a database of these psychiatric assessment scales didn't actually exist. Most psychiatric assessment scales are described in academic papers that come in a journal, and some are very well known and are documented in lots of different books, and some are more obscure. But there's no centralized repository. So one of the tasks that we needed to accomplish was to make a database of all of these scales. We also needed to make a phone app to access that database, and at the same time, our client didn't want to put all the information in himself. He doesn't know all of the scales, and he doesn't have time, and there's loads and loads of scales. So he wanted to make it an open system where people in his community could contribute to the database. So we needed to make a way for that to happen. Additionally, he didn't want to spend a lot of time reviewing the scales, so we had to make an easy system for him to use to review things, because he still wanted some control over what went in and what didn't. And finally, he also wanted to open up this database so that other people who might have a slightly different use could access all the data that's been compiled very easily. So our solution was to make PsyBase. PsyBase is a combination of different apps. First, there's a phone app. There are native apps for iOS and Android, which are built using an Ionic framework. There's also a web app, which allows you to scroll through scales and search in exactly the same way. There's a scale submission system, where people can submit new scales for review. There's a reviewing system, where Dr. Bell gets to review all the submitted scales and either approve or reject them. And finally, there's an API, where people can navigate to with a browser or with automated software and grab a JSON copy of the entire database. So here's Jack, and he's going to demonstrate the phone app capabilities.
Certainly. Let's take a look at this. So we started with the idea of a very intuitive design. This is our app, and we have a very easy way of navigating the application. This is our home button, takes us to a menu of all the scales we have available here. Let's just take a look at one. So here, the core data of the application pops up. We can take a look, get an understanding of what the app is dealing with, and it is geared towards medical professionals to save them time, which they can now allocate to their practice instead of wasting just studying for these types of data. So what we can do here is we can also search for a particular type of study. So let's try obsessive compulsive inventory. Here we go, and all the data appears. Some scales are much larger than others. We also have the ability of making an app a favorite. This, we think, is really handy, as practitioners can compile a favorites playlist, and that will make it so that their favorite apps, the favorite scales, will be easily accessible within the app for them. And here they are. And they can obviously be deleted if something changes in the practice. We have a history, which shows the latest apps that have been consulted. And we also have a more section, which allows us, in fact, to submit new scales. This will take us to the web app, as we click here, which we can access quite easily. And we would also like to show the same features happening on an Android device. Similar design. And the app is very responsive, it's easy to use. It's quite intuitive, so we aim for users to acquire the capability of interacting with this app fully in just a matter of minutes. We would now like to go and show you the web application where new scales can be submitted. David is going to walk us through that.
Okay, so for the web application, you can open a web browser and you navigate to PsyBase, which is Google App Engine application. So we go to appspot.com, and we have the same exact list here that we had on the phone. You can select various different scales. You can scroll through them. So we can look at our back to rest of inventory, and here's all the information. You can toggle back and forth between different apps, or different scales rather. Go back to search. We can actually search here, so we can do obsessive compulsive inventory, and here we go. And at the same time, we can also submit new scales. So there's a button here, Submit New Scale. So this takes us to a different page, and you can enter, here's your submitter information. So my submitter name is Dave. I'm going to put PsyBase at gmail.com and UCL. So then we have to fill in information. If we don't fill in everything, it won't let us submit. So the full scale name is test scale. Scale abbreviations is TS. All the scale names is TS. Tester, year of publication, 2015. We're just going to make up some stuff because we have to fill in all this. We can scroll here. All this stuff in the submit button stay in the same place. Basic information is basic. Scale usage is usage. Scoring is scoring. And we'll just put some other stuff. Interpretation. Dave, references, links, google.com, keywords, PsyBase, categories, scale. Okay, now that we've filled all these things out, we can click submit. And it says, thank you for submitting the scale. Now we can go back to the search. Now, we can go to the reviewer app, which is also a subset of PsyBase. Reviewer. Now you can see here, we've just gotten our new scale that we just submitted here, entered the database. So this is all scales that have not been yet reviewed. It's got a different color scheme so that you know which app you're in. And so if you click here, you can see here, this is what we've done. We've submitted some stuff. We can also say reviewing test scale. That's a different scale. So this is the one we just submitted. Here's all the information that we have. It's very easy to scroll up and down through it. And as you can imagine, if there's a very long scale here, it's easy to scroll. Comments allows the reviewer to make some comments. This is not a very complete scale. Okay, so we can make some comments as we go along, and it stays in the same place so you don't have to go all over the place. And you can either accept or reject it. So here we're going to reject the app, or the scale rather. So we've rejected the scale. It's no longer needing review, and it's out of our sort of to-do list here. And now one of the things the system does is when you make a decision, it automatically sends an email to the person who submitted it. And it says, thank you for submission to PsyBase. After review, we've decided not to add it to the database. Here are the comments, and here's all the information that you originally put in. So that's the app. We hope it's useful. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.